Hello, good day. I am Alexandra Natasha Nipa, and today I will discuss about the origin and development of letter. So, what's the origin of the alphabet? The origins of the alphabet begin within the shadowy realms of prehistory. At some time within that shadowed prehistory, humankind began to communicate visually, motivated by the need to communicate facts about the environment around them. Humans made simple drawings of everyday objects such as people, animals, weapons, and so forth. These objects drawing are called pictographs. When the Romans adopted the Greek alphabet along with other aspects of Greek culture, they continued the development and usage of the alphabet. As humankind began to see the need for communication of more abstract thoughts through visual marks, the meaning of pictographs began to take on broader meanings. The mark for ox, for example, could also mean wealth, food, or strength. Interpretation of a single pictograph was ambiguous and lacking context. Combining several pictographs together provided context, and more complex abstract meanings could be conveyed. For example, pictographs of a woman and a child together could combine to represent happiness. Once symbols no longer represented objects but ideas, they became new evolutionary step in our alphabet. The ideograph. Many early cultures communicated and keep records by combining symbols for the concrete and for the abstract. However, there are disadvantages to this system. Not only were the symbols complex, but their numbers tally into the tens of thousands, making learning difficult and writing slow. An early culture that inspired to innovate a simpler, more efficient writing system was the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians were a wide-flanked trading people of great vitality with complex business transactions that required accurate record-keeping. It was through their need for keeping ledgers and business accounts that they evolved a system around 1500 BC that used signs to stand for sounds of syllables. As this system had markedly fewer symbols to learn than the old ideograph system, it streamlined learning time and made rapid writing possible. They had found the perfect business tool. The original alphabet was developed by Semitic people living in or near Egypt. They based it on the idea developed by the Egyptians, but used their own specific symbol. It was quickly adopted by their neighbors and relatives to the east and north, the Canaanites, the Hebrews, and the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians spread their alphabet to other people of the Near East and Asia Minor, as well as to the Arabs, the Greeks, and the Etruscans, and as far west as present-day Spain. Around 800 BC, the Greeks adopted the Phoenician alphabet. The Greeks added A, E, O, and U to Phoenician base of 22 letters. Adoption of the alphabet by the Greeks was to have a tremendous impact upon the development of the alphabet, for it was through the auspices of Greeks and later through their cultural admirers, the Romans, that the alphabet was to finally take on a distinct resemblance to the modern Western alphabet. This is the Phoenician alphabet used in the ancient times. The Phoenician alphabet used in ancient times. The letters and names on the left are the ones used by the Phoenicians. The letters on the right are possible earlier versions. Aleph, the ox, began as the image of an ox head. It represents a glottal stop before a vowel. The Greeks, needing vowel symbols, used it for alpha. The Romans used it as A. Bet, the house, may have derived from a more rectangular Egyptian alphabetic glyph or of a grid shelter, but which stood for the sound H. The Greeks called it beta, and it was passed on to the Romans as B. Gimel, the camel, may have originally been the image of a boomerang-like throwing stick. The Greeks call it gamma. The Etruscans, who had no G sound, used it for the K sound and passed it on the Romans as C. They in turn added a short bar to it to make it do double duty as G. Dalet, the door, may have originally been a fish. The Greeks turned it into delta and passed it on to the Romans as the he may have meant window, but originally represent a man facing us with raised arms, calling out or praying. The Greeks use it for the vowel epsilon. E, simple E. The Romans use it as E. Wow. The hook may originally have represented a mace. The Greeks used one version of wow which looked like RF, which they called degama, for the number 6. This was used by the Etruscans for V and they passed it on to the Romans as F. The Greeks had a second version, epsilon, which they moved to the back of their alphabet. The Romans used a version of epsilon for V, which later would be written U as well. Then adapted the Greek form as Y. In the 7th century England, the W was created. Zayin may have meant sword or some other kind of weapon. The Greeks used it for zeta. The Romans only adopted it later as zay and put it at the end of their alphabet. Het, the Finns was a deep throat or pharyngeal consonant. The Greeks used it for the vowel eta, but the Romans used it for h. Tet may have originally represented as spindle. The Greeks used it for theta, but the Romans who did not have the th sound dropped it. Yod, the hand began as a representation of the entire arm. The Greeks used a highly simplified version of it for iota. The Romans used it as I and later added a version of for j. Cap, the hollow or palm of the hand, was adopted by the Greeks for kappa and passed it on to the Romans as k. Lamed began as a picture of an ox, stick, or goad. The Greeks used it for lambda. The Romans turned it into L. Mem, the water, became the Greek mu. The Romans kept it as M. Non, the fish was originally a snake or eel. The Greeks used it for nu and the Romans for n. Samek, which also meant fish, is of uncertain origin. It may have originally represented a tent peg or some kind of support. It bears a strong resemblance to the Egyptians' diged pillar seen in many sacred carvings. The Greeks used it for xi, and the simplified version of it for chi. The Romans kept only the version as x. Ayin, the I, was another deep throat consonant. The Greeks used it for omicron. They developed a version of it for omega and put it at the end of their alphabet. The Romans kept the original for O. Pe, the mouth, may have originally been a symbol for a corner. The Greeks used it for pi. The Romans closed up one side and turned it into P. Said, a sound between sh and ch, is of uncertain origin. It may have originally been a symbol for a plant, but later looks more like a fish hook. The Greeks did not use it, although an odd version does show up as ampi, a symbol for 900. The Etruscans used it in the shape of an M for their sh sound, sh sound, but the Romans had no need for it. Kop, the monkey, may have originally represented a nut. It was used for a sound similar to K but further back in the mouth. The Greeks only used it for the number 90, but the Etruscans and Romans keep it for Q. Resh, the head, was used by the Greeks for rho. The Romans added a line to differentiate it from their P and made it R. Shen, the tooth, may have originally represented a bow. Although it was first pronounced sh, the Greeks used it sideways for sigma. The Romans sounded it to make s. Tau, the mark, was used by the Greeks for tau. The Romans used it for t. The Greek letter P was already common among the Anatolians in what is now Turkey. PSI appears to have been invented by the Greeks themselves, perhaps based on Poseidon's trident. For comparison, here is the complete Greek alphabet. Until recently, it was believed that these people lived in the Sinai Desert and began using their alphabet in the 7th BC. In 1998, archaeologist John Darnell discovered rock carvings in southern Egypt, Valley of Horrors, that push back the origin of the alphabet to the 90s BC or even earlier. Details suggest that the investors were Semitic people working in Egypt, who thereafter passed the idea on to their relatives further east. Our present-day 26-letter alphabet is the result of thousands of years of evolution. The development of the alphabet was to continue under the writing implements of medieval scribes. It was during the medieval era that the letter U, W, and J were added to the alphabet. Also, during this time, lowercase letters developed as a natural result of the use of the flexible reed pen for writing manuscripts. Lowercase letters, for the most part, require fewer strokes for their formation, allowing the scribes to fit more letters in a line of type. The combination of speed and space conservation was important to monks writing lengthy manuscripts on expensive parchment, and the use of lowercase letters was widely adopted in a relatively short time period. By the time Johannes Gutenberg developed the printing press in 1450, the basic formation of the alphabet was set into its familiar modern form. The visual style, however, of the modern-day alphabet is as varied as the thousands of typefaces and the type families available today. Access to computer technology allows typographers and designers more options than ever, while still basing communication on those essential 26 letters. Our present-day 26 letters alphabet is the result of thousands of years of evolution. The basic shape of the alphabet may be modified, simplified, or is embellished, but the basic shapes cannot be changed without significantly weakening communication and legibility. That's all po. Thank you.